someone mentioned being discouraged at how good you in particular seem to be at so many things, particularly since you said you see yourself as the kind of person who does things only 80% and moves on.
Question.
And the last thing that I want to do here in the podcast or with your videos is to be discouraging to anyone.
Yeah.
So how is being good at all those things achievable, and how is the answer not Tom's just better than you at stuff?
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I got to put out there first and foremost is anybody who is a public figure and successful at doing so has an additional skill that they probably aren't broadcasting. It's like a meta skill. And that is they are skilled at looking good as a public figure.
Presentation.
Yeah. So, like if I go to the rock climbing gym, maybe I can climb a 5'10 plus, and that I feel pretty darn good about that. But there are people there who can climb stuff that it will take me years to do. It's going to take me a long time. I am just starting my journey there. You know?
It looks cool on Instagram, but it's really a lot more approachable than it seems if you care about it.
The other thing is, it's how do you manage your time, and how are you able to manage your time? And we talk about this a lot, how there's like a seed planted, and for a long time it has to grow its root network, and then finally it sprouts forth. And nobody gets to see the years spent underground growing that root network. Nobody got to see every famous musician's first 10 years practicing or playing gigs in no-name bars, just eking out a living until finally they get their big break. That wouldn't have come without all that time investment. Well, for me, let's take that internship, for example. I did 4 10s, and almost all my time during that summer that wasn't spent working, and a lot of that time at work was spent building College Info Geek. Honestly, it wasn't a very health optimized time in my life. I was drinking energy drinks every day, like multiple, probably 3. And I would come home, and I'd get home at 6:30 from the internship, and a lot of days I would just work on the blog until 1 a.m. and sleep 4 hours.
Yeah, and obviously we would never recommend that.
I don't recommend it.
So if you hear us recommending good sleep patterns, and then you assume that we do them all the time, that's not always true.
That's the thing about the entrepreneurship thing. Like, I'm never going to recommend that you sacrifice your health or you sacrifice your relationships for entrepreneurship. If you want to do it, and if you want to do it bad enough, you're the kind of person who is going to ignore me and probably ignore your own mind's calls for sanity when it comes to your schedule, and you're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
I guarantee you there's people who listen to our podcast who are doing that. They're just like, you know what? I know Tom says sleep 7 hours a night, but I don't care. I'm sleeping 5, and I'm building my business. And in 5 years, maybe they're a millionaire.
Yeah, I can't say that I've never pulled an all-nighter to do an ambitious thing. Yeah. It happens.
I mean, I think I've done a couple. Not all-nighters, but you've been staying up coding.
Oh, I do that.
More than you should, like recently.
Yeah.
So there was all this time invested where I was not a visible presence on the internet at all. Nobody knew that I couldn't figure skate, and I couldn't rock climb back then. I was in decent shape, but I was mainly investing time into my blog. And now we've built a business where sometimes we can take some time to go learn something. Yeah. So there's like an investment of time.
So we got a lot of
when we were invisible, and now we're more flexible. So I could go take figure skating lessons in the morning. So, there's some amount of privilege there. And some of that is like luck, and some of that is societal. And, there's really not much I can say about that. Like, there's inherent unfairness in the world in that regard. But some of it is just like the fact that I kind of went through that path already, like that chapter of my life already. And a lot of people, I think, looking at Instagram and stuff like that, they're in that chapter.
Yeah.
Like, you're in grad school right now. Okay, your life is grad school. So you don't have time to go get good at sports or get good at music because you're spending every single waking moment doing your research and writing your dissertation. Embrace that.
Yeah, we graduated years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just not the same time.
So just understand, number one, don't compare yourself to somebody else. Compare yourself to your yesterday. That's how I do it. Like, I look at other people for inspiration, but when I'm making comparisons, I'm asking myself, how good was I yesterday, and am I better now?
Yeah.
And even that can be dangerous because, you went through this whole period of life where you had your injury, and you were looking at
I'm worse than yesterday.
Your 3 years ago self's idealized version of you, and being like, well, I'm not even close. I'm further away now.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but you went through something that 3 years ago self didn't have to go through. So it's
Yeah,
not
nor
worth
did they
comparing
predict.
yourself to that person anymore. You
Yeah.
know, now it's worth setting a new baseline